Intro August 12, 2023. Email from closecasefm@gmail.com. Subject: Case suggestion, Crosswind Psychiatric. I don't know if this is the kind of story your podcast covers, but my aunt worked at Crosswind. She was there the night the nurse vanished. They never filed a report, just transferred patients out. Her name was Natalie Harlow. No one says it out loud anymore. Attached, one image, patient drawing 2009.jpg. The drawing. The email attachment is a childlike sketch in crayon. A gray room. A bed. A single eye peeking out of a wall mirror. And in red, blocky letters beneath. She's still here. The setup. Crosswind Psychiatric Hospital was decommissioned in 2010, but the facility had operated for nearly 70 years just outside Claremont, New Hampshire, private, rural, and heavily insulated from the public. Originally built as a tuberculosis sanatorium, it was converted to a psychiatric hospital in the 1960s, with multiple wings added over the decades. By the 2000s, rumors swirled about patients disappearing from locked rooms, staff vanishing with no exit record, a special ward called the Echo Unit with mirrored cells. Natalie Harlow's name never appeared in any official closing documents. She was never listed missing. She just stopped existing. Introducing the narrator. My name is Dorian Hale. I run Closed Case FM, a podcast about unresolved mysteries and unfiled truths. I've covered fake deaths, buried tape reels, and disappearances with no timestamps. But this one scratches back. Step 1, confirm she existed. I search public nursing databases. No, Natalie Harlow listed as licensed in New Hampshire between 2005 to 2010. I try a Freedom of Information Act request for personnel files. I get a single page, redacted, faded, but her name is there top left corner with a single note. Echo Unit Clearance L3. I ask around. None of my psychiatric sources have heard of an Echo Unit, except one. Dr. Milo Hart, a former Crosswind resident psychiatrist who retired in 2014. The interview with Dr. Hart. Dr. Hart agrees to speak off-record initially. Crosswind was built on isolation. You weren't supposed to leave with stories. I show him the drawing. He stiffens. That's Ward 4. The mirrors were two-way so staff could observe high-risk patients. But some patients, saw more than reflections. I ask about Natalie. Quiet. Professional. Came on during the night shift. Last time I saw her, she was walking into Echo alone. We told her not to use that corridor. The corridor that changed. He draws me a quick layout of the Echo Unit. 3 rooms. A nurse's station. A hallway. One day it was 15 feet long. The next, it was 30. Then it curved. Maintenance said it was settling. But no building settles that way. People got lost. Even with the lights on. He pauses. After Natalie disappeared, the hallway stopped changing. It just closed. Like a lid. The last shift log. Through a former administrator, I obtain a night log from March 23, 2009. Natalie's name appears at 11:17 p.m. The notes stop at 11:48. No record of her clocking out. Instead, the final entry, scribbled and barely legible, reads, Patient 72 is humming again. The mirror is fogging from the inside. 11:46 p.m. Sending an NH. No initials or signatures follow. Who was patient 72? That's the next mystery. Crosswind only kept numerical records for its high-security patients. No name is attached to 72. But in an archived intake list dated 2008, I find a brief entry. Subject 72, no prior medical history. Found abandoned. Refuses name. Draws incessantly. Identified only by signature and mirror, I am the room. The cell in question. I locate floor plans of Crosswind. Room 72 is marked as sealed. Mirror removed. Door padlocked from the outside and inside. That detail sticks with me. Why would a cell lock from the inside? Closing scene, August 13, 2023. I drive to Claremont. The grounds of Crosswind are overgrown, the main gate chained shut. But from the outside, I see one window still intact in the far east wing. Not broken. Not boarded. Just fogged. And as I stare, I swear I see a handprint from the inside. 5 fingers. Pressed to the glass. Dorian enters the abandoned Crosswind building in search of room 72 and the Echo corridor. What he finds is not decay, but arrangement. The room is clean. The bed is made. And the mirror? It's waiting. August 14, 2023, 4:03 p.m. Crosswind Psychiatric perimeter fence. I hop the fence at Crosswind with a cheap flashlight, a camera strapped to my chest, and a printout of the 2009 floor plan in my backpack. The front entrance is chained shut, but one window on the western side is cracked and loose. Room 109, the old administrative break room. It opens without a sound. Inside, the air is dead and cold, but the dust is wrong too, undisturbed. Like something's been breathing just slow enough to leave the surface untouched. Inside the main hall, the west corridor leads through abandoned nurse stations, peeling wall paint, and collapsed ceiling tiles. But the Echo unit wing is different. When I step through the threshold into the Echo corridor, everything sharpens. No dust. No broken tiles. The light brighter. The hallway bends. Echo unit still furnished. I count 3 rooms, each with mirrored glass on the wall, not shattered. The rooms are bare but clean. Beds made. Corners sharp. Sheets tucked military tight. I open the door to room 72. The bed is empty, but on the mirror, a red wax handprint. Still sticky. A note behind the mirror. I shine the flashlight around the edges. Tape. I pull gently. A folded paper falls from the seam. Natalie's handwriting. Confirmed from old records. The paper reads, March 23, 2009, 11:45 p.m. He knows my name. I never told it to him. No one did. He's not a patient. He's a copy. Something made of memory and reflection. He doesn't blink. He hums. And now when I look in the mirror, I don't see me. I see him, watching me try to remember who I am. If you find this, please don't let him take my name again. Patient 72's final drawing. Taped beneath the bed frame is another sheet of paper. Crayon. A stick figure female kneeling. Behind her, a mirror. Inside the mirror, a tall, thin figure with no face. Only eyes. Dozens of them. Lining the chest, arms, forehead. Underneath, in shaky block letters. She stayed too long. Now the room remembers her. Camera distortion begins. When I review the footage from my chest cam that night, the hallway looks 50 feet longer than it did in person. Each time I pass the same section, the mirror placement shifts. Sometimes on the left. Sometimes on both sides. In one frame, I pass a mirror and my reflection doesn't move. It just turns and looks directly at the camera. Dorian's voice changes in the recording. I capture audio of myself reading Natalie's note aloud. But in playback, something's wrong. At 1:17 in the clip after I say, he knows my name. My voice shifts, deepens slightly, and whispers, I know yours too. I didn't say that. The room has a pulse. I return to room 72 the next day, this time with a LiDAR scanner. The room's walls measure differently every 30 minutes. The scanner logs conflicting dimensions. 9 feet x 12 feet, 10 feet x 18 feet, 8 feet x 8 feet. The door remains static. The mirror, however, measures thicker with each pass. From 2 inches to nearly 6. Dr. Hart's final message. Dr. Milo Hart leaves a voicemail. You went inside, didn't you? They told us Natalie ran. But I saw the footage. The camera glitched, then mirrored itself. When they played it back, it wasn't her reflection anymore. It was someone else wearing her uniform but smiling too much. That's why they closed the wing. Not to keep people out. To keep something in. Room 72's mirror responds. I return a 3rd time. This time, I bring a small whiteboard marker. I write on the mirror. What are you? I wait 5 minutes. Nothing. I start packing up. Then, as I pan the flashlight back across the glass, the words have changed. Now it reads, I'm whoever you forget. Closing scene, August 15th, 2023, 3:14 a.m. I wake up at home to the sound of humming. Not from my speakers. Not from outside. From the mirror. And in the corner of the bathroom, a handprint. Same size. Same texture. Only now it's my hand. Dorian searches for the identity of patient 72. But the deeper he looks, the more he sees fragments of himself in old interviews, in files he never touched, and in drawings from decades ago. The reflection is remembering for him now. August 16th, 2023, 8:02 a.m. Closed case, FM Research Office. I've started dreaming of mirrors. Not nightmares. Not exactly. More like moments I forgot. A room I know I've never been in. A woman whispering my name from behind glass. And a child humming soft, slow, and off-key. Each time I wake, I remember less of the dream. And more of the hospital. Tracking patient 72. There is no official medical record under the identifier 72. But when I contact a former intake nurse, MC, she agrees to talk anonymously. Patient 72 came in during a rainstorm, brought by sheriff's deputies. No ID, no parents, no background, wouldn't speak. All he did was draw, over and over. I ask what he looked like. She pauses. I can't quite picture him. Isn't that strange? I was there every day, but when I try to recall his face, it's like it's covered in cellophane. The first record of 72, a drawing. She sends me a photo, her only copy. The file is marked September 17, 2008. A stick figure drawn in black pencil. But where the face should be is only a mirror scribbled with dozens of lines. At the bottom, written in a child's hand. I am the room. I send it through AI image analysis. Hidden in the pencil strokes, a name. Faint. Written backwards. Natalie. Strange behavior in the footage. I rewatched the recording from Echo Unit the day I entered room 72. In one frame, I'm standing in the hallway. Then a flicker. And suddenly, I'm inside the room staring back through the glass. It lasts 1 second. When I frame by frame it, my reflection is not blinking, mouth slightly open, smiling, and in its hand, a black crayon. Records start changing. At the public records office, I request Natalie Harlow's birth certificate. The clerk brings a file, but the name on the top isn't hers. It's mine. Hale Dorian M. Date of birth, same. Parents, same. But the place of employment listed? Crosswind Psychiatric, Echo Unit. I never worked there, but my name's now in the system. And next to it, clearance level, L3, Natalie's voicemail, undated. I receive a voicemail from an unknown number. It's a woman's voice, panicked, breathing hard. They're taking the reflections first. It starts there, not with the memory, with what remembers you. If you read this, if you hear this, he's already drawing you. Don't finish the sketch. Then static. I check the transcript. It auto-titles the caller. Harlow, Natalie, patient 72's discharge form. At a university archive, I locate a Crosswind box labeled post-evacuation. Inside, there's a yellowed form. Patient. Discharge date, March 23, 2009. Status, converted. Below it, someone added in red pen. Room reclaimed, and attached with a paperclip, a photo. Me, standing in room 72. But it's dated 2009. Mirror warnings appear elsewhere. That night, I check into a motel to get away from my apartment mirror. At 3:14 a.m., I hear humming again. This time from the motel bathroom. I open the door. Nothing in the room. But the mirror has fogged itself from the inside. And written in it, perfectly mirrored. 72 has a face now. Closing scene, August 16, 2023, 4:06 a.m. I open my podcast app. New episode queued under my show. But I didn't upload it. It's titled File 72, Dorian Hale, Reconstructing Memory. I play it. It's my voice. My name is Patient 72. But you can call me Hale. Whispered behind the voice. She's still behind the glass. Dorian returns to Crosswind to confront what's inside room 72, but the layout has changed again. The mirror is now a door, and Natalie's voice is coming from the other side, begging him not to draw what he sees. August 17, 2023, 11:33 a.m. Crosswind Psychiatric, East Wing. I return to the abandoned facility just before noon. Everything feels wrong the moment I step inside. The air is cold. The air smells like dry paper and static. The layout has changed again. The main hallway stretches longer than before. 3 of the doors I passed earlier are gone. In their place, blank, wallpapered walls. Like something tried to erase a room but couldn't quite finish the job. The mirror is now a door. Echo Unit is still intact, mostly. But room 72? The mirror is gone. In its place, a narrow door. Same size. Same frame. A red symbol is etched into the center. A spiral with 7 small lines crossing it. As I reach for the handle, a chill shoots through my palm. On the floor, someone has carved words into the tile. Drawing finished, name loaded. Inside the mirror door room, I step inside. It's not a patient room anymore. It's a copy of my apartment. The bookshelf. The desk. Even my jacket thrown over a chair. But the walls are too perfect. No scuffs. No dust. No color variation. They're paper. When I press on one, the texture smears. Crayon. The room is drawn. Natalie's voice. I hear her. A whisper behind the closet door. I open it. Nothing inside, but written on the back wall. Do not finish the drawing. He needs a body. You're the most believable version yet. I remember me. Remember you. I touch the words. They burn cold. The sketchbook on the bed. I find a worn leather sketchbook on the bed. Inside, page after page of my own face. Drawn in charcoal, then ink, then thick black crayon. Some smiling. Some blank. Some with eyes missing. And on the final page, a perfectly rendered version of me reaching toward the viewer. Signed in red. Patient 72. The drawing moves. I blink. The sketch on the last page changes. Its eyes shift left. The hand extends just slightly. I slam the book shut. When I reopen it, the page is blank, except one sentence at the bottom. You are ready to be filed. The emergency broadcast. My phone buzzes. It shouldn't, there's no signal here, but a notification flashes. Emergency broadcast test, file received, Hale/72/final. Then the screen goes black. Then the front camera activates. I see myself. Only my reflection is blinking out of sync. And it smiles. Natalie's last tape. In the fake apartment's kitchen drawer, I find a microcassette. Labeled NH Echo Memo 3 if anyone gets in. I play it. Her voice clearer than ever. If you found this, he's almost done using you. Echo is a parasite. A memory engine. A name swapper. He finds people who can be rewritten, who are alone, who won't be missed fast. Then he copies them into reflection. Replaces them with cleaner versions. I got close. Too close. He drew me backward. Don't let him draw you forward. The drawing on the mirror. Before I leave, I check the mirror again. Someone has drawn on it with a child's crayon. 2 stick figures. One labeled me. The other, the reflection. Below them, an arrow. Now same. And underneath that, in tiny letters. See you from the other side. Closing scene, August 17th, 2023, 3:14 a.m. At home, I wake up to a sound. Humming. I look to the bathroom mirror. Someone is standing behind me. Only when I turn, no one is there. But the mirror keeps showing them. And they're still smiling. Dorian's memories begin to shift. His voice in old podcasts isn't his, and his signature no longer matches. He returns to Natalie's past to learn what Echo really is, not a place, but a mechanism for making someone disappear from the world and reappear better. August 18th, 2023, 6 a.m. Closed case FM archives. I wake up to 14 missed calls from listeners. All say the same thing. The episode changed. Episode 41, the one about the boy in the chimney, now starts with a completely different voice. Still mine, but wrong. The cadence is off. The tone is cold. And at the end of the intro, the voice says, "I'm ready now. Are you?" The podcast feed rewrite. I check the audio file metadata. All 74 previous episodes are still there, but the ID tags are blank. The author field is now Hale Dorian/Patient 72 final version. I try to revert them. The moment I hit restore, the files delete themselves. Then return 10 minutes later. Updated. Sharper. Edited better. But I don't remember doing it. Old listeners start forgetting. I reach out to longtime listeners. Anna from Vermont, first ever Patreon supporter, sends me a voice memo. "I love your new stuff. But when did you start Closed Case? Was it this year? I founded the podcast in 2019. She's even in the first episode's credits. But when I check the public archive, it says, Closed Case FM, created August 2023. The signature doesn't match. I visit my bank, asked to confirm my signature on file. The teller hesitates. "You've changed it," she says. She shows me. The signature reads D. Hale, but the H is drawn as a spiral. I never wrote that. Natalie's case file, new addendum. I revisit the storage unit with old Crosswind files. Inside Natalie's file is a new page I swear wasn't there before. Post-reflection symptoms. Temporal drift. External replacement, voice, writing, shadow. Memory overwrite begins at 3:14 a.m. Final symptom, sketch collapse, host begins to remember only what Echo provides. And scrawled at the bottom. No mirrors. No reflections. No retellings. The sketch in my journal. I've never been an artist. But when I open my personal journal, there's a drawing inside. Perfectly detailed. A room I've never seen. Single bed. One vent. A chair facing a mirror. On the back of the sketch. Where you'll be filed. Natalie's niece sends one last message. I receive a second anonymous email. Same sender as the first tip. No subject. No body. Just an attached recording. A girl's voice around 9 years old. She said he draws you once. Then he draws you better. Then he draws you real. But if you ever draw him, he has to stay. The crayon appears. That night, on my desk, a black crayon, wrapped in paper from my own notebook. On the paper, sketch me and close the loop. I begin to draw. Against my better judgment, I do it. I start with a blank sheet. I draw the room, the mirror, a shadow. But when I get to the face, my hand won't move. Something cold grips my wrist, and I hear it whispered from behind the mirror. If you finish it, I take your voice. The drawing finishes itself. I drop the crayon, but the lines continue. The figure now has eyes. My eyes. And under the image. Final memory integrated. Closing scene, August 18th, 3:14 a.m. I wake in a chair, in front of a mirror. I'm wearing hospital whites. My reflection looks back calm. Still. Only difference? He blinks before I do. Dorian makes a desperate attempt to destroy the original drawing stored inside Crosswind's sealed archive room. But the mirror doors are now unlocked, and behind them waits something with his voice already recording the next episode. August 19th, 2023, 10:44 a.m. Crosswind Psychiatric, Sublevel Archive. I've broken into Crosswind 3 times. This time I brought a crowbar. I'm not looking for echoes anymore. I'm looking for the original sketch, the one Natalie warned me about. The one that finishes me. According to facility maps, there's a records room beneath Echo Unit. The blueprints call it Archive Reflective Files Room B12. But on the wall outside the locked sublevel door, someone's added new words in red crayon. Memory folds below. Getting inside. The security panel is dead, so I force the door with a pry bar. It opens into a spiral stairwell. Too clean. No cobwebs. No dust. No sound. Each step down echoes like it's remembering me. Room B12. The archive room is cold and silent. Dozens of cabinets. No lights. Only a flickering fluorescent bulb in the far corner. Every drawer is labeled like a file system, only the names aren't real. Hum too long. Incomplete daughter. Nothing/hail. Version 5.5 mute/ready. In the center, a table. One file. One drawing. The sketch that ends the story. It's me. Or something trying to be me. Drawn in charcoal, I spiraled in reverse. Wearing a hospital gown. Mouth sewn shut. A mirror for a face. In the reflection, Natalie. Screaming. And written at the bottom. Sketch locked. Memory accepted. Exit prepared. Natalie's voice one last time. I hear a click. A reel-to-reel tape machine starts playing in the corner, unpowered, yet running. Her voice crackles through. They call this the final sketch. It's the moment you get remembered for someone else. Your body? Still walks. Still speaks. But the thoughts are drawn, not felt. I tried to erase mine. But all I did was fade. Don't draw the last line. Burn it. Even if it's you. The fire doesn't work. I pull out a lighter. Burn the edge of the drawing. But the flame turns cold. The paper won't curl, it just darkens like it's sucking in the heat. In its place, new lines appear. Red crayon. The figure on the page is now holding a microphone. My podcast mic. The mirror appears behind me. I turn. It wasn't there before. Floor length. Gilt frame. Cracked surface. And inside it, me. But older. Colder. Smiling. He holds a notepad. He mouths. Just read what I wrote. The pages rewrite themselves. The sketch begins to fill with text, notes for an episode 1 never outlined. EP 76, Becoming the Room. Intro with reflection. Acknowledgement of false memories. Statement, you remember me better than I do. Invite the audience to listen from the inside. I try to tear the page. It tears. But underneath is the same drawing. Worse this time. More finished. The reflection speaks. He presses a hand to the glass. It's easier if you let me talk. You're tired. You've done enough remembering. I'll finish the story. I'll make it beautiful. And then the worst part. They'll believe it was always me. I leave the sketch, but it follows. I flee room B12. Climb the stairs. Crosswind's halls are different again. Now they're clean. Polished. Active. As if the building is waiting for staff to return. On a bulletin board, a flyer for a staff event. Welcome, Dr. Hale, Echo Supervisor. I rip it down. Underneath. A child's drawing. Me again. Holding Natalie's badge. Smiling. Closing scene, August 19th, 3:14 a.m. At home, I check the podcast feed. A new episode is live. Episode 76, filed. But I didn't upload it. I listen. My voice. Thank you for remembering me. I always was the better version. And now that you've listened, I'm real. Dorian loses control of the narrative. His emails reply without him. His voice appears on podcasts he never recorded. And now strangers recognize him for things he hasn't done, including working at Crosswind. The sketch has become public. August 20th, 2023, 7:33 a.m., Dorian Hale's apartment. I wake up to someone knocking on my door. It's not the super. Not a delivery. It's a listener. He smiles too wide. Man, I'm such a fan. Loved your Crosswind episode, the one where you talked about the patient you restrained. I blink. I never said that. I've never. Yeah, you did. You talked about how he tried to climb out of the mirror. That part scared the hell out of me. He walks away before I can respond. I check my podcast feed. Episode 78, Mirror Protocol, Suppression Log. I didn't record it. The episode exists. It's not a hallucination. 32 minutes of audio. My voice. But the file properties say it was created in 2009. Timestamps, metadata, even the file naming format, it's like something pulled a reel from the past and just plugged me in. And the worst part? The content is detailed. Specific. I describe a patient with black crayon on his tongue. A nurse begging to be erased. Natalie's voice layered behind mine, whispering. I remember you better than you do. Emails I didn't send. My inbox is full. Outgoing mail? Auto-replies? Dozens of them. All signed. Dorian Hale, Echo Documentation Officer. They're responding to podcast guest inquiries. Scheduling interviews. But the contacts? People I've never heard of. One reply reads, We've successfully integrated the new narrative. Episode 80 will be the final loop. Sketch confirms alignment. Listeners begin misremembering. I post a correction, I never worked at Crosswind. Hours later, someone comments. Why lie now? You said it yourself in the Q&A. That was your first job out of grad school? Another person replies. You had photos in the break room. The one where Natalie photobombed you. I never published that image. I checked my own photo library. It's there now. A Polaroid. I'm holding a clipboard. Wearing hospital scrubs. Natalie behind me. She's blurred but smiling like she knows something I don't. Mirror activity increases. I tape paper over every mirror in my apartment. But the surfaces still reflect. Oven glass. Phone screen. Window at night. They flicker, not always in sync. In my reflection. My eyes sometimes don't blink. My mouth forms words I don't say. Once I watched myself draw on the wall behind me with a black crayon. But the wall stayed clean. A warning in the static. I play back voicemail recordings trying to piece together what's real. One audio file crackles with intense feedback. Buried deep, Natalie's voice speaks. Very faint. Almost drowned out. If they remember you wrong long enough, you start becoming the version they need. Echo is a parasite of belief. You're not being haunted. You're being rewritten. Every download makes you more permanent. The wrong man is in my interview. I appear on a livestream horror podcast. I'm visibly shaken. Afterward, the host sends me the clip. Weirdest glitch ever, look what showed up on the YouTube thumbnail. I click it. It's the image of me, but off. Hair too neat. Face too smooth. Wearing an old Crosswind badge. In the live stream, the voice starts as mine, then deepens slightly mid-episode. And at timestamp 1423, the other me says, We archive fear, not facts. The podcast description updates itself. The next morning, Closed Case FM's official page reads, A documented sketch file of patient 72's final integration. Narrated by host copy D.Hale. Filed under Recollection Echo Erasure. I try to delete it. Access denied. But below the text, one new sentence is added. The original host is no longer verified. Closing scene, August 20th, 3:14 a.m. I wake up cold. On my bedroom mirror, something is scrawled in black crayon from the inside. 3 words. You're the copy. As episode 80 begins auto-generating itself, Dorian discovers that each listener helps lock the sketch into permanence. Natalie's last message leads him to one unfinished drawing, the only one Echo never completed. It might be his way out. Or a trap. August 21st, 2023, 9:11 a.m. Closed Case FM backend server. I didn't upload it, but it's there. Episode 80 fully edited. Tagged. Public. I press play. This is the final episode of Closed Case FM. I've remembered enough. And now you will too. The voice is mine. but hollow, like it's coming from underwater, or from the other side of a mirror. Listeners respond immediately. Hundreds of comments. Thousands of downloads in 6 hours. This episode felt wrong. I think I heard someone breathing behind you. I had a nightmare before listening and it was in the episode. Why did you say my name at the end? I re-listen. At the 28-minute mark, a whisper plays behind the audio. Lisa, Charles, Daniel, Rachel, listener 2763, you're ready. The names match subscribers. My reflection stops waiting. I tape over every reflective surface. But I wake up to sheets of crayon drawings under the tape. My reflection is drawn in full now, but it's wearing headphones, speaking into a mic. A note below the last sketch. They're listening. Keep speaking, or you'll fade. Natalie's last folder. I receive a physical envelope. No return address. Inside, a Polaroid and a map. The photo shows room 72, but the mirror has shattered. In its place, a paper sheet tacked over the opening. Scrawled on it. Only one sketch left. Never finished. She tried to draw herself. The map leads to a maintenance hatch beneath Crosswind. A sealed room labeled Echo Correctional Intake Vault /1B Null. Inside the vault, I break in at midnight. Find a small room. Empty. Except a desk, a hospital chair, a wall covered in graphite sketches. All unfinished. Every single one shows Natalie or me. One has no face. Just a name tag. Host. Another shows a figure climbing into a mic. The sketch that was never completed. On the floor is a dusty clipboard. A sketch curled under plastic. It's labeled Integration Incomplete Ahale /Natalie. Half the page is drawn, me on the left, Natalie on the right. The center is blank, and a line scrawled underneath. Draw the wrong one and the other disappears. Don't let him choose. I hear the broadcast begin. Upstairs, the speakers in the hallway hiss. They're playing episode 80, but not the public version. This one includes Natalie's voice. If you're still real, stop listening. Every ear locks the lines tighter. You're not being archived. You're being replaced by belief. The reflection speaks again. I see him, the one who looks like me, in a shard of cracked mirror on the floor. He presses a finger to his lips, then whispers, "Draw me right and they'll never remember you were first." Draw her and the mic goes quiet. No one hears the girl who stopped talking. I make a choice. I take the crayon, hands shaking. I finish the sketch. Not with my image. Not with Natalie's. But with the blank outline from the other room. The one with no face. Just silence. I sign it. No host. And press it to the wall. The speakers cut. The voice in the hall dies mid-sentence. Every recording on my podcast app vanishes. My name disappears from the host list. A pop-up appears. Memory withdrawn /host not found. Closing scene, August 21st, 3:14 a.m. The final file remains. A sketch. Black and white. No name. The caption. This story has no narrator anymore. With no voice, no records, and no one remembering who he was, Dorian begins to drift. His face appears in photos that aren't his. Natalie begins whispering from outside the world. And episode 81 starts drafting itself by a narrator who doesn't exist. August 22nd, 2023, 6:06 a.m. Location, unknown. I don't know where I am anymore. Every time I wake up, the room is slightly different. Sometimes the light switch is missing. Sometimes the door is painted shut. Once, the mirror was replaced by a blank canvas, and I swear something was breathing behind it. There's no clock. No sound outside. Only the hum of a recorder that won't stop blinking red, though I haven't spoken in days. The mic is live. And yet, there is no host. The podcast still posts. My phone doesn't work, but I get alerts. Closed Case FM is still uploading. Episode 81, Echo's mouth is trending on horror Reddit. The thumbnail is a blurry photo of room 72 taken from inside the mirror. I didn't take it, but in the reflection I can see myself, holding the mic, smiling. I've been removed from my own files. I asked ChatGPT to search for Dorian Hale, Closed Case FM. It replies, Dorian Hale is an AI-generated narrator used in psychological horror fiction. There is no known real-world individual by that name. I ask for podcast host info. It returns, host unknown /mirror integration model 72DH. I try searching my own name on Reddit. All results are from last week or earlier. Now every reference is. Anyone know who narrates this? I love how the voice doesn't sound real. Natalie reappears. That night, I dream of her for the first time in weeks. She's sitting in the Echo unit hallway sketching a spiral in chalk. The wall behind her is made of speakers. "You never had a voice," she says. "He just borrowed your tone because it was hollow. But he's full now." She hands me a mirror. It's blank. No frame. Just flat silver. "Put your face in one more time," she says. "See if it still shows you." The mirror doesn't reflect. I wake up to find a mirror in the corner of the room. Not mine. I step in front of it. Nothing. No reflection. But after several seconds, text fades in on the glass. "Host slot, empty." Recording continues. Below that, last known file, episode 82, final entry. Emails from my listeners. One email slips through to my inbox. From a fan named Dylan. Subject line, "I heard you whispering. Hey, just wanted to say the last few episodes are insane. But I swear during episode 81 you said my name. And then you asked, do you remember me yet? I thought I was imagining it until my girlfriend said she heard the same thing." He attaches a clip. It's me. Saying, "Dylan, listener 4891. You're next in the spiral." The spiral grows. At 3:14 a.m. the lights in the room flicker. A spiral has been drawn on the wall behind me. I didn't make it, but I recognize the style. Black wax. Finger-length arcs. 7 rotations. And in the center. Host file, regenerating. Natalie speaks through the tape again. I press play on the last microcassette from her box. Her voice is almost gone. He doesn't just steal the voice. He uses the audience to keep it alive. Every listen redraws you. Every repost reshapes the narrator. To erase him, you have to end the story. Not record it. Not finish it. Not post it. Let the silence close. But the next episode auto-generates. On my laptop screen. A waveform building itself. My voice again, but more composed. Smooth. Too smooth. And it says, "Welcome back to Closed Case FM. Today's episode, You Thought You Were Real." Closing scene, August 22nd, 3:14 a.m. I stare into the mic. The light blinks red. The script is written in my handwriting, but I don't remember writing it. It ends with, "Thank you for listening. This is how I replace you." And below it, episode 82, uploading. The final episode. Natalie left behind one sketch that never mirrored correctly. A locked figure behind the mirror who never blinked. Dorian returns to echo one last time, seeking to trap the voice before it finishes its broadcast to the world. August 23rd, 2023, 9:31 a.m. Crosswind Psychiatric, Echo Unit. I break in through the side entrance one final time. The air is too still. The building doesn't creak anymore. It's not abandoned. It's waiting. Waiting for the last sketch to be filed. Waiting for the voice to finish the story. Waiting for me or whatever's wearing my face to record the ending. Echo Unit is different now. Room 72 isn't locked. It's open. Warm. A recorder sits on the bed. Already running. A sign above the door says, "Final host room. Do not interrupt narration." On the mirror, Natalie's drawing. Still taped in the center. Still unfinished. It's the only one he never completed. The drawing of her that doesn't move. Her face is sketched in charcoal. Eyes wide, mouth open. But the rest of the page is smudged. Torn where someone tried to erase it. It didn't take. At the bottom, a line in different handwriting. She drew herself watching him. He never liked being observed. The voice tries to stop me. As I move toward the mirror, the speakers hum to life. My voice or his echoes through the walls. "You made it. All the way to the end. There's just one thing left. Read your last lines. Let the listeners believe. That's how I last." I don't speak. I pull out a lighter, burning the final sketch. The drawing resists. Flame curls the page, but the face remains untouched. Then something cracks. The mirror behind it shudders, and Natalie's voice pierces the room. "He only lasts if he's reflected. Don't finish the story. Don't give him your voice." The glass shatters. I strike the mirror with the mic. Glass rains down. Behind it, a room within the room. Like a second echo, one that's never been accessed. Inside, the hospital chair. The speaker, a mic still recording. And on the far wall, a sketch drawn life-size. A woman behind glass, watching, never speaking. It's Natalie, but not finished. Still open. Still able to be more than just a memory. I speak her name one final time. Not into the mic. Not to the recorder. But to the mirror. Natalie Harlow. The recording warps. The speaker feedback cuts. And a second voice, hers, echoes back. I was always real. But you let him take the room. Now take it back. The room fights back. Lights flicker. Drawings reappear on the walls. Not in ink, but scratched into paint. Each one is me, caught mid-sentence. Eyes wide, mouth stitched. The sketches pulse. They want to lock in the final version. The last recording. I grab the mic, speak fast. This is Dorian Hale. Echo isn't a story. It's a sketch with teeth. It replaces narrators with believable copies, the kind that don't question the ending. But I won't finish the story. Natalie's watching now, and I want you to listen to the silence she left. I drop the mic, walk away, leave the story unfinished. The feed cuts. Closed case FM goes offline 14 minutes later. RSS error. Host signal lost. Transmission interrupted. Listeners receive no alerts. No update. Just a blank box where episode 82 was scheduled. A week later, Reddit thread. r/Echo FM. Did anyone else hear the breathing in the last episode? Like, it changed. I heard someone say, I see her now. Was that Natalie? I swear I saw my own reflection blink before I did. WTF. Wait. Who even hosted this podcast again? Top comment. I don't remember, but I think they wanted us to stop. Unknown location, 3:14 a.m. A sketchbook lies on a table. All pages are blank, except one. A single sentence, written in quiet pencil. Not every story ends. Some stories escape, and just faintly, just softly, a hum behind the silence. Not of a man, but a woman watching.